You okay? All right. This is the car you saw that was sitting there for ever. Nah, but in all seriousness, thank you for everyone who tapped in, watched the last video. We appreciate it a lot because it's cold in here. So if you watch the video, I'm freezing the whole time, and you guys are laying at home, chilling, relaxing, watching the video. But now we're back, and we got this Genesis here. A little different than what I'm used to working on. If you haven't noticed the trend, I usually work on everyone's Hondas. Or RSXs. 7th gen Hondas. I'm great with them. But this thing's not any of the above of what I just mentioned. But it's in here to get kind of just put together in reality. This car has a bunch of aftermarket parts on it already. The whole rear suspension is aftermarket, has a true coilover setup, a bunch of arms, pretty much everything that I would need to accomplish the fitment with the wheels he has, which we're gonna see. I'm not gonna put old clips in them, you'll just get to see when I get them back. The wheels are getting done by Ronnie, boy Ronnie Wheel Problem. I'll put his name somewhere, maybe right here, if my finger's in the right spot. Right there, check him out. If you need anything done with your wheels, if he's got time, he'll get you in. That's just how it works.
Polishing, flips, tire mounting, balance, and a couple other things.
But in order to get this thing to look the way that this guy, we're gonna call him this guy for right now, wants his car done, we have to get it in there and peel stickers off of it. But for the air, we need the lift, which I'm pretty sure this thing sits high enough that I can get the lift under it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I can. But I might push the front end a little that way. We're gonna do some moving around and stuff, which for you guys will be quick after you watch the time lapse. But for me, it's gonna take like an hour. So we'll be back. Car's in there, just like that. It took an hour, like I said, but the car's in the air. And I realized that this car has no jack points. It's just pinch weld. That is it. So if you saw me laying on the ground, that's why I was there. Wheels got to come off, front and rear, stack them up. I don't know, somewhere. Find a spot to put them. But wheels got to come off so we can actually look at what we have going on behind the wheel. Suspension wise, loosen everything up. The rear is a full setup. I'll show you guys. It's pretty cool. Surprisingly, something about this is cool. Except for the Brembos, that's pretty cool.
Not these. These are not.
Those are not cool. These are actually cooler than those. Believe it or not. But yeah, we're just gonna take the wheels off. We'll time lapse that as well. Sorry, yeah. We'll take the wheels off. We'll time lapse that, and we can have a conversation and try to understand how this car is put together. And as you saw, cars in the air. You sat right here the whole time. Car's in there. Wheels are off, so we got the stack of the wheels over there, and then the new stack of wheels over here that we got back. So now begins the fun part with the suspension stuff. And I was telling you guys before that this car has a bunch of aftermarket stuff. Starting the front, you got all adjustable lower control arms, caster arm. Tie rods are stock, obviously. Well, if we have to play with those, we can play with those. End links, Swift springs, good coilovers. The rear is, aftermarket arm. Lower control arm is adjustable. Toe arm is adjustable. Cast arm is adjustable. Swift springs in the rear. You can't really see them, but that's a Swift spring in there. And yeah, we have a bunch of adjustable arms, so we should be able to accomplish anything we kind of want to do. We have top hat as well. It still has adjustments. We can play with that. And the motor raise, it has aftermarket motor mounts, which are solid, like billet mounts. You can't see them from up here, but I can see them. I promise I can see them. And it shouldn't be that bad. You can kind of see, that's the mount down there that I'm shining the light at with the bolt going through it. We'll space that thing out and raise the motor like an inch. That should give us enough oil pan clearance, because if you look underneath, he's already scraping the oil pan. So that'll raise the oil pan up and allow us to test fit these, which we just got back from Ronnie. Look at that.
Sacks on the wheel.
Look at that.
Leon Hardford.
Look at that.
The appearance of the Night Wisdom bravery.
Wow. But yeah, this is where we're at. We're gonna wrap it up for today. I have some plans and some things to do. So yeah, we're gonna catch you guys tomorrow when we're ready to actually start playing with the suspension. Before I leave, I'm just gonna spray everything down with some PB Blaster. I'm gonna go put some garbage bags on the floor so I don't get oil all over the ground. And that'll at least give us a good baseline tomorrow when we start breaking everything loose and playing with the setup itself, honestly. And it's gonna be cold tomorrow. It's gonna snow. We're gonna get like, what is it, 4 inches to 8 inches? 4 to 8 inches of snow. So I'll be in here slaving away on that thing. So we'll catch you tomorrow from most likely right here, like this. We're back. We got goods. I mean, the car can wait. Welding table. I needed a welding table so I can go and set up a little station somewhere, weld stuff up. I bought myself some brushes, an apron. I already got a mask, a respirator, and the welder. I'm probably gonna end up setting that up later on some point in that corner over there. Maybe I'll set that up now to keep it out the way. Let's just build this. We'll time lapse it, and then we'll get into the good stuff of the day. Which really, this car today is just gonna get everything broken loose. I'm gonna put on 1 back wheel, 2 front wheels, and I think that's what I have. But I'll kind of start getting everything situated and get an idea of what adjustments I'm gonna have to make to fit the wheels that I got back right there. So let's time lapse, get the bench put together, and we'll come back when we're ready to get some work done. Like, the bench is done, and Geo spawned in, obviously. But this is the bench. This is kind of like where I'll be doing a lot of the stuff. Ideally, I won't be welding here when there's a car here, but if I have to, it is what it is. But the car, this thing, wow. The first thing I want to do is break all these arms loose, kind of figure out what I can adjust, what I can play with. Get all this stuff loose up here so I can shave the knuckle some more. Start adjusting the coilovers and kind of fitting the wheels. That's pretty much what we got to do. So for the time being, we'll probably time lapse. I'm gonna go around with the wrench and all that stuff, break everything loose, and then I'll start pulling out the wheels, start kind of fitting them on the car, get an idea of what we're gonna need. I know the camber in the front is a little less than the rear. I can get more out of the front without even doing anything crazy. His top hats aren't even pushed back all the way, so I can push those back immediately before I start anything and get an idea of what the camber numbers are with everything maxed out. And yeah, fit wheels. Set you up somewhere, probably right there. You can watch me break everything loose, and we'll come back when we got wheels on the car and we kind of know what we're doing. I don't even know what you guys saw last. Couldn't tell you. Something. Oh, the time lapse of me breaking all the arms loose. Yeah. That's what it was. I got all the arms loose. I also adjusted the camber on the top hat, which I told you had to go in a little bit. I also sprayed down the coilovers. I gotta break those collars loose. They're pretty tight. They don't want to move. So spray both sides down and hopefully close that gap up. If I need more low, I can just take that helper spring out because he's on Swift springs. So in reality, the helper spring is just adding ride height at this point. But I got the front camber pushed in all the way. At this point, I just have to get these coilovers to break loose and get spacers. So I'm gonna have him, actually I have 1.5 inch spacers I can test. So I'll test those spacers on this, see how they fit. If the wheel looks kind of how we want it to look with the coilover lowered all the way, the front's pretty much ready to go. The rear, we probably need new spacers as well. We'll probably end up needing bigger spacers, but I'm gonna test fit that rear wheel on there maybe tomorrow or something like that. I'm not really worried about testing it now, but yeah, we just got to get everything broken loose. Mainly the coilover. The rear ride height isn't gonna get touched much. It's already maxed out pretty much. You can't go any lower. The front will match the rear, and we'll figure out a camber number that works for the front and the rear, so that way it matches, and try to tuck the wheels, which I already test fitted, but I'm not going to show you until I can loosen the coilover. Once we can loosen the coilover, it makes sense to show you, because right now the wheel gap it's there. It doesn't look good. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm just going to spray everything back down, mess with my welder a little bit, and that's pretty much it, because it's cold as fuck outside, so we ain't trying to do all that. And it's snowing a lot. Show you right now. Yeah, snow. So yeah, we're not gonna live out here for the rest of the day. We're gonna finish this shit up and we'll come back tomorrow. We're back. Like, maybe I don't even know what day it is. It's so you can't see that, but we're back. And shit happened. Things are apart. Things are happening. I took the coilovers out. That's the only thing I really did off the camera. The car's still exactly the same as you guys saw the last time, except for the coilovers are out. And I took them out because these springs with the helper, as you see, the helper spring is all compressed down. That means that there's tension on here. So I can't really turn this while it's in the car. I'm gonna take the top hat off and release the pressure, lower the coils down. That way everything is free, and then put it all back together. So that's how we're gonna lower the front. We're just gonna close up this gap for now. Because in reality, we have a little bit of a problem with the rear as for how much I can adjust the height, because if you look in here somewhere, honestly, this shit is I'm gonna do like this. Do like this. There you go. So if you look at the control arm, that red right there, see how close it is to the frame? When we jack up the suspension, it's hitting that spot. So I'm gonna see how creative I can get there, because if we can at least tuck the lip of the wheel, we can make the whole car look good. I'm not gonna show you, maybe I will show you what this wheel looks like on the car, and you can understand why I want to lower it like another 1.5 inches or something like that. But I'll try and get, I gotta ask him, I gotta show him what's going on and see if he really wants to go that route, and show him what it looks like with the wheel on and all that fun stuff. The front, if I lower the coilover, we should be where we need to be. And this is weird. I've only worked on front wheel drive cars, so seeing this stresses me out. Like, look at that. It looks broken. But we'll set you up, or I'll probably have Gio record, and we'll go ahead and get the coilovers apart and figure out how low we can get the front, put them back in. I'm still waiting on one wheel, so we're not really that much of it in a rush, and we need spacers for the front. So we're just kind of going to get the coilovers all situated, everything kind of adjusted ballpark where it's going to be, and then when we have all 4 wheels ready to put on the car, I can test fit them, get it set, and move on. So yeah, we'll be back when we're ready to do the coilovers. All right, we're recording. Mic is on. Mic is on. Yeah. Coilover. Very easy. Very easy. I soaked these down with a bunch of PB Blaster for like 3 days because nothing wanted to move. But like I said, since the spring is compressed all the way, it's all tight. It's not going to move anyways. But while we're here, go ahead. You've seen me take coilovers apart. Take the nut off. Pull the top hat. Pull this thing off. Keep this where it was, please. Spring. And then we'll pull all this stuff off. This is the collar that holds the whatever, the helper spring. Yeah, that thing. Wow. that in there,
Had
that in
luggage
there.
on it.
This is good. We're apart now. So to get these apart, really what's keeping them from moving is all these rocks. They get stuck in the threads and you can't really get it to spin. So I'm gonna go ahead and just brush that off, tighten this up, put it in here like that. And go ahead and spin this way. I'm gonna make it come out of the top so I can just clean the threads up. You hear it's real crunchy. Yeah, that's because there's a ton of rocks in here.
Like most of y'all fenders.
Yeah, literally, like most of your fenders. They look like that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just scrub this shit off. Look, you know, grab a wire brush, scrub it, get them all out. And you'll see what that does. A lot of you be fighting coilovers like, yo, my coils don't spin, they're seized. They're not seized, they're full of rocks. That's why they don't move. Go ahead and do that. And you saw how hard that thing was to spin before I did this. Now, go ahead and get it past the beginning where it was originally biting at. Like this, hopefully. Or I'm just gonna completely fail because they're fucked.
This one set you up for failure.
No, I'm just gonna take it back off and try again. Try 3 or 4 times and eventually it's gonna work. Coilover, and geo, and a coilover. Geolover. Now I just gotta put this thing in the car, see where they're at. That one's already done. I did that one before I started recording anything in general. I can put them in the car, see where they land. If I need more ride height, I can go ahead and just take out the helper spring, but we're gonna try it with the helper spring. But I'm probably just gonna set you guys up right here on top of the heater or the trash can or something, and you can time lapse and watch me put the car back together. Once it's together, we'll put the wheels on, and you'll get your first look at what this side of the car is gonna look like before I mess with the rear. The rear, we still gotta ask him if he was okay with cutting the car up. If he is, we'll go ahead and just drill through that, make a notch like I did in the Civic, and let it rock. If he doesn't want to cut it, the car will stay where it is because the rear ride height is pretty much fender to lip now. I can maybe add a little more camber and a spacer, but who knows? Time lapse. Let's do it. And there you go. In the time lapse, you saw me take everything apart and put it back together, but other things had to happen. So I did mention earlier that the helper springs might be the reason why we don't get the ride height we want. And sure enough, as you see right here, they're out. So I took them out and the coil looks like this now. No helper spring, maxed out all the way. And with that, we got this, which pretty much is exactly what we were shooting for. So I'm glad we were able to accomplish that right away. The rear, on the other hand, is a little more complicated. Remember I was telling you about that arm? We took it out, which means we have to cut something, and I have them right here. So I'll go ahead and show you where the arm and the body of the car were making contact. You can see right there, that's where it was touching. But if you look, this is just like a bracing piece, which in reality, it doesn't need to be there with how the car sits. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut these welds off. Take this piece out, and in the car, we can go ahead and clean up the area above the arm. Let me show you. That little tab right there where the dirt fell from. That's where we're gonna go ahead and clean that a little bit, cut some of that material away just so it doesn't keep hitting there. And that should give us the ride height that we need out of the back at least. We can go lower the coilover down, which is pretty much all the way up. You can't see that. We can lower the coilover down to compensate for what we changed on the arm. And then kind of see where the wheels are gonna sit. He is bringing us the spacers for the front. So that'll give us that spacer stack for the rear. And we can go ahead and measure the rear spacers. He can order those and we can move on with the other things, which is like the transmission raise and stuff, but that's for a later project. The biggest thing is getting the suspension and the wheels fitted. We're almost there. So I'm probably gonna cut those off the camera. I'll show you when I'm done cutting and when he's here to give me the spacers. I'm gonna talk to him about the situation and show him what we're doing so he's up to date. And by then, the rear should be ready to put back together so we can test fit. It's not gonna be necessarily as aggressive as the front because of the rear axles, but it'll be close. So yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and do that. Let's cut the arms. I'll show you when I'm done cutting and we'll do a little check-in in a little bit. We're back later, a lot later. For the rear, I told you I had to take the arms off. We were just gonna cut them. I showed you after. They're outside. I spray painted them just to keep them from rotting away, since we live in Pennsylvania and they use salt. I also got rid of that little that tab there that was touching the arm in the first place. So that shouldn't rub. I mean, it shouldn't rub. It shouldn't touch there at all. I just got to get the arms back in, but I'm waiting for the owner to bring me the spacers to the front because I need the rear ones. For the time being, I think I'm gonna move this little vent thing for the filler neck, and that way I can cut that section too, so that way this cast arm doesn't touch that. But in reality, I don't think it's gonna touch, but we'll find out. We just gotta adjust everything. I added more camber as well, and I took the fender liner out. Yeah, I took the fender liner out, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm probably gonna end up putting this side together just to see what it looks like, and then I'll show you on the other side everything we did step by step, how we did it. Another thing that I had to cut is there's these studs here, see? Right there, that hold the fender liner on. If we would have left those there was a chance that they probably would have touched the tire, and that'll blow a tire out. So we cut those out, got rid of them. Fender liner is wide open now. And all we really have to do is the same thing we did here. We got to do it on the other side. The arms are outside. I'll show you. Right here. Just waiting for them to dry up. I cut those little brackets off from there. That gave me like an inch of space to play with, and then I maxed out the camber. We'll get those back on the car. But yeah, for the time being, we're gonna let those dry, clean up a little bit, sweep, and just make it a little easier to work in here. And we'll probably be back after I get this side together and when I'm actually gonna start working on that side. And maybe yeah, you can watch me put everything away. I'll time lapse it. We're back on Sunday. We got Geo, Civic, this thing. Well, we're gonna give you the sneak peek. I wasn't gonna show you guys the wheels on. I was gonna actually take them off and work on the other side today or tomorrow and let you see when I did the work. But I'm gonna be nice. I'm feeling good. It's nice out today. I'm in a good mood. So for the most part, this is kind of the general setup. We're gonna be matching camber at around, he wanted like 14, 15. When we measured yesterday in the air, it was at 14. So on the ground, keep in mind, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you have an upper control arm, camber arm setup like this, 9th gen Civics, EM2s, yes, your arm this is the camber in the air, but when you lower the car down, the camber arm moves to an angle upwards, which then shortens that distance, adding more camber. So in reality, this might have a little more tilt than it has right now. We have slip-on spacers, we can tie in the fitment, but when I jacked this up, it was beautiful. Like Gio can tell you, he saw it. This thing looks fucking good, man. Like,
I
really
approve.
good.
I approve. It's
Yeah,
good, and
you
it's
guys
a
know
mobber. It's gonna be a
Gio's fairly
mobber.
picky
It's a
about
mobber.
what's a good setup with camber numbers and stuff. And this looks good. It looks good. It's gonna be fun to drive. He can daily the fucking thing, which is the biggest goal. But today, we're not actually touching this. We're doing some car shuffling around. This has to go outside.
Side quest.
36. It's right there looking. I gotta show you.
It's too pretty not to give it a segment.
It's too pretty for you guys not to see it, because when I pulled this thing out today, I was like, yo, hey, yo. Look at that thing, bro. Look at this. You know, to be nice, while I pull out the Civic, I might have this guy get some B-roll. We'll make a little baby edit.
I got it.
Of this thing in the snow. And we'll let you guys see it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna go get the Civic out. If I get fun things happening while that happens, I'll take his phone and record it and we'll add it in. But I think it should be pretty smooth. I'm just gonna pull it out and put it in front of this car, get his mother-in-law's car inside. We'll do brakes on that. We also have another little project to do. We got stuff to do today. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
I got motor mounts on this thing, eh? So this shit. It feels like it's on 80 Ks.
It feels fine. It feels good, right?
I've been in a car with 100 Ks in the rear. If anybody knows Hazard Gang, we're in the hoodie. Their founder, Ovi, let me make sure my mic's still on. Ovi, the founder, he has a pink AP3. You guys have probably seen it. Sudani wheels all around. He has 100K 326 springs in the rear, and honestly, this on washers feels a lot like that does. So I'm kind of happy that it feels good. I know that he's gonna love the thing. This is a good test right here because it's a bouncy, weird road. Yeah, once we get off the merge. Oh my god. Hell yeah, boy. This is a mob car, bro. Oh my god. I'm in love.
Build your cars properly, guys.
Or just bring it to me.
I thought they were saying we had nice roads in PA. What happened?
And just like that, brakes are done. We actually did Gio's brother's LS400, his brake lines. We did a bunch of stuff, but now we can get back to the focus, which is this thing. We still have some minor fabrication things to do. If you guys recall, grab the light here. We need this. Oh my. If I show you, you guys saw on the other side that I cut that little tab right here, that little metal area where the arm is hitting. I cut that all out on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Get the front suspension back together, all bolted up to the knuckle. We'll use the new jack. We got a new jack. I needed a small low pro like this one, so I can use for a bunch of like suspension stuff and take on the road. And then I have the big old retired, still working one. But yeah, this thing really just has to go back together. He is gonna get tires at some point so we can mount them on the wheels and get that all situated. But in the time being, I can also just get all like the fabrication done. We can also jump down tomorrow and figure out the transmission mount situation. And yeah, just kind of go ahead and get this thing situated and out of the way. But for the time being, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some music, put you on the time lapse. You guys can go ahead and watch us put this back. Well, us, you can watch us put this all back together. So yeah, time lapse. And just like that, this rear side is all done. I have the wheel on, just gonna get an idea. I was doing some adjustments, some testing, some fitting and all that stuff, but tires are still a must. And camber adjustment, I'm still playing around with the camber because these are big barrels. The barrels are huge. I can't play with too many spacers because of the camber numbers we can actually achieve. It's an interesting situation, let's just say the least. But I think what we're gonna do for now is get some B-roll. I want to show you guys. This is what the front looks like on this side, all put together. Fitment looks really good. The tuck is nice, subtle, drivable. Rear is the same way. This is pretty much the outcome of how it's going to end up looking once it's all done. The tuck is nice, fitment's nice, camber is pretty much even all around, and I mean, it looks really good. Pretty much all this thing still has left that we need to do is drop the transmission mount, figure out how we're gonna raise that, raise the motor, and just kind of tidy everything up. But at least for the suspension, this thing's pretty much done. I'm waiting on one wheel. As you see, I only have 3. I don't have the 4th one, but that can wait. I want to get this part of the video. This probably gonna make at least 2 videos on this car, just because there's a lot that's gonna be done and I have to mash a bunch of stuff together. So at least for right now, go on this side. Let's go on this. Show you the good view. At least for now, this thing looks pretty good. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is cleaning up, put everything away, get all the tools out, look at the transmission mount and get an idea of what that's gonna be like, but that's gonna be for the next video. And yeah, we're gonna tidy this all up and we'll catch you in a little bit. And that's a clean shop. Everything's away. This thing's settled. We're gonna keep playing around with it. Like I said, when you watch the next video, you'll see exactly what we do. But for the time being, this is the outcome. I took the jacks down. You get that little sneak peek. I'm not gonna give you any B-roll just yet. We'll do that next video. Hopefully we'll also have a little bit of a roller situation going on. I want him to get some tires so we can see the car leave with the wheels. But yeah, for the most part, this thing is suspension wise ready to go. Little quick summary. We ended up taking the front coilovers out, got rid of the helper springs, got them guys right here. We adjusted the front camber, maxed it out all the way. We redid the front end links that were loose, replaced one of the bolts on the lower control arm, and cambered the front, fitted the wheels, swapped the spacers. The rear, we had to notch the frame rail a little bit to get the camber arm to fit. If you recall, we also cut the camber arm. There's a little bracket tab thing that was hitting the frame rail. We cut that as well. That gave us another inch of clearance. Cambered the rear a little more, fitted the springs a little better, adjusted the coilovers, unseized everything, and test fitted the wheels. So far, the suspension and how the car's going to look is pretty much settled out. The only thing left is figuring out that transmission raise. The motor raise is honestly really easy. It's just a couple washers stacked up on the bolts. The trans is the hardest part. But pretty much this thing is dialed. It's dialed. And yeah, we'll come back. Next video, we'll talk about what we're doing for the transmission raise. We'll talk a little more about what I did to the suspension because I'm sure I'm going to touch the suspension again. But hey, that's what we do. Thank you so much for every single one of you that subscribed. You guys killed it with the last video. Honestly, I'm still looking at the stuff today. Today's date is the 27th of January. It's Monday. And you guys killed it. I made a post. We're grinding for 1,000 subs. It's a mission of ours. It's a mission of ours to hit the 1,000 subs. We can get monetized. We can make a little bit more money. That'll allow me to spend more time in the shop and less time at my normal job. So yeah, run it up. If you guys haven't subscribed, down below, if that bubble is not, I think it turns white when you subscribe, but it's still red, subscribe. Hit the sub button, turn on the notification bells. You'll never miss another banger. Share with your cousin, your mom, your brother, your sister. You guys share a lot, and that's what's gotten us the traction that we've gotten. So thank you to every single one of you that shares on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you guys are sharing the posts. I really appreciate it, and hopefully from here on out we can get a little bit more motion going, get a little more traction, start posting videos every other week or every week, kind of like we're doing right now. It's hard for me sometimes because I don't like to leave videos half finished and then make a part 2, but hey, sometimes that's what we got to do. I still work a 9 to 5, and yeah, timing is weird. But yeah, I mean, the RSX still needs some love. I got motor mounts for that. They just showed up, so we can start planning the bracket for the trans raise. I have to send Marsh some pictures. He's gonna help me out, kind of figure out what the bracketing situation is gonna be because it's an automatic. We'll get that thing figured out. This thing will get a transmission raise as well. This one will be all me. I'll figure that out, get it all done. And you'll see that in the next video. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for still following us. Thank you for everyone who shares. And if you're still watching, stay tuned because I have something that you guys are gonna be able to take part in. I'm gonna have a little giveaway going. I got a product that I'm dying to share with you guys, and yeah, I mean, I can't say too much yet. You guys will probably see next video exactly what I'm talking about, how to enter the giveaway, and all that stuff like that. So thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Please comment, give us some feedback. It means the world to us. Have a good night.